Hey, we here with another Jmac reaction. Ignore that shit at the top of the screen because there's gonna be a lot of that shit. Cause my phone I did, and I usually make my phone die before I do these hoes, but it's not because I got shit to do. But whatever. Hey, but like I said, back at again with another Jmac reacts. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. On top of that, make sure y'all tell me stuff y'all want me to react to so I can react to it, and then them folk finna be blowing me up the whole thing. Let me cut these. Let me go to settings. I mute the notifications. I don't know. I'm just gonna hope they stop texting. Like I hope they just stop. But yeah, and also it's more than media. They fucking the lines up. Look, check me out, bro. Check out the description, man, because it's more than me than you too. Now let's get into this, man. Unbreakable Ice Cream. Let's get on the chat, man. Let's see what's going on. Let's pop our shit.
In exactly 1 week, I'll be releasing the Glitter Bomb 3.0 video. It's got a bunch of new features, and it turns out even in 2020, there were no shortage of package thieves that involuntarily volunteered to test all those new features out for us.
Look at that, is it glitter? Yeah! Oh my god!
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 1.
But this video isn't that. I'm making this video to tell you about something I've poured my guts into for almost a year, and it's like the biggest thing I've ever announced on my channel. But first, I have a confession, and that's I love ice cream. It's just objectively the best food that there is. But there's two problems with that. Number one, I have no impulse control to keep me from eating this entire tub in a single day. And number two, other people in my house also love it. So we are competing over a scarce resource. So I came up with an invention to protect the ice cream from my poor impulse control and other people in my house at the exact same time. And here it is. Do you see it? Of course you don't, because that's the first line of defense in action. It's camouflaged in this bag of frozen vegetables. But even if someone in my house were to accidentally stumble upon this bag of vegetables, is what they'd find. It's impossible for even the world's strongest person to remove this lid because it's clamped on with a 1/4 ton of force, and yet there are no buttons, latches, or locks. And it works because the lid and the base are made from different the base, and then the lid just snugly slides on at room temperature. But when I put it in the freezer, the anodized aluminum lid shrinks 50% more than the stainless steel base does, essentially fusing them together. The trick then is over the lid, because when you increase their temperatures, aluminum also grows 50% more than steel.
That's live. It's live. It's like a science hack. I wish they would stop. But they probably not gonna stop. But that's cool as fuck. Like, I don't have that problem in my house, but that is cool though.
And this solves my impulse control issues because it makes me wait at least 30 seconds to think if I should really eat this ice cream. And in this case, yep, I definitely should. This idea just occurred to me one day, so I made it. And that's the thing I love about being an engineer. If you have an idea about a thing and that thing doesn't exist, you can just will it into existence. So
that is true. It is true if you have those type of talents, but I ain't talented like that. I'm not in the talented tent, as my boy would say.
My big announcement. I have been secretly working for nearly a year to create a month-long course that will teach you to use engineering and science to bring your own creative ideas to life. And we structured this course in such a way that it covers my entire creative design process while still being easy to follow and digestible. And this really is my entire process. You'll follow along with me as I create 3 different brand new builds, starting all the way from just coming up with the idea in the first place. So for example, for one of the 3 projects in the class, the design challenge is just some kind of build that has to do with habits. So it either helps enforce a good habit or breaks a bad one. And as you'll see in the class, as I was stepping through the brainstorming portion of the engineering design process, it occurred to me, what if I could build something that could do both at the same time? Before this, I never actually known how to solve a Rubik's Cube, so this seemed like a worthy good habit. So every time I do it, I can just set it in this really cool retro blender I found on eBay that's also just camouflaged in my kitchen, and then it will check to see if I solved it correctly when I turn it on. And if I did, Then the back pops open and I get rewarded with my favorite candy, which if it weren't locked away, I would eat every time I came through the kitchen because again, no impulse control. And normally on my channel, whether it's an automatic bullseye dartboard, or the world's largest Nerf gun, or Super Soaker, or a Ninja Warrior obstacle course for squirrels, it's just me presenting the final thing, and then you get to see it in action. But for this class, I pull back the curtain, and you get to see the creation process unfold.
Check out the YouTube plays. YouTube like hard as hell.
Real time. You get to see all those aha moments, the hundreds of little decisions that lead to the final build as I talk you through my thought process and the techniques and tools that I'm using as I use them. But by far the coolest part is you get to practice this process yourself, and that's where the true learning occurs.
So hold on, engineers are not like just computer people. They literally make a bunch of fucking shit. TJ really talk his ass off, and Lil D really talking their ass off. They really talking their ass off in there, hoe.
We'll follow the engineering design process side by side. No matter what your starting skill level is, the course is designed so that by the end of the month, you will leave the class with 3 original creative builds of your own that you can proudly show off to the world. And other students will be in the class with you, so you
Man, I'm gonna say, bro, if you're an engineer, you should take that up, bro, because if you got to think about it like this, bro, that's something you probably can't even really just pay for. It probably cheap. Let's see how much he charging, because he ain't see how much he charging yet.
together and get feedback, and I'll be in there sometimes too, leaving comments and video responses on people's work. And so just to give you a little flavor of the class, here's like a 60-second sneak peek. You guys ready? The first build is mechanical. Here are my 5 requirements now. We want to make sure we have a bunch of different starting points. What's the right arc that this should have? Each time it spun around, PVC pipe here. I don't even know what this is for in real life, but it's small, it's cheap. My work is I'll just raise the back of the catapult up, and that will give me a different launch angle. 3, 2, 1, launch. And then this comes all the way back, and then boop, and it comes down. This makes sense in 2D. Now I've got to take this 2D and like map it to the 3D here. It's a shear load, it's not like a tension load. So that may be enough. You get a force going back that way, goes through the eyelet, and then comes back to me. Captures it, fires, lovely. It impacts on this shoulder right here. It's a dice roll at every gate, basically. So the complex the system is, the fewer moving parts, always the more reliable it's going to be. Oh, baby, got it. It's basically like us hanging out together as I walk you through my entire process. In fact, if you combine all the videos in the course, it's longer than the combined time of all the videos I've uploaded to YouTube in my 10 years on the platform. And the goal of the class is not...
And he been tubing for 10 years? So he been doing this in 2010. Man, you know how old I was in 2010? 13. I was 13 in 2010. That's how long ago that shit was.
To expose you to all the tools and techniques that I use, but to teach you to think like an engineer. But like in the good way, not in the way that makes my wife frustrated when we have to talk about feelings. And the process I'll be teaching you is the same process I used at Apple as a product designer. It's the same process I used at NASA to help build the Curiosity rover, and it's the same exact process I use every month on all my YouTube videos. We'll cover mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, 3D printing, prototyping, CAD, Arduino and Raspberry Pi, the scientific method, and so much more, including how to tell a great story around your build and give it character so people will naturally want to share it. And if you hear all that and you're like, psh, that's way over my head, don't worry, because hopefully you trust me enough by now to know that I love to try and take these really complex things and break them down to their most basic elements so that they make sense even for someone. Now to be clear, if this is your first time dipping your toes in the water, I'm definitely not promising that by the end of the month, you'll be making like fully functioning glitter bombs. But you will have a fundamental understanding of how a mechanical and electrical build like this works, and exposure to all of the steps and processes by which something like this is made. Like there's no element of this glitter bomb that we don't at least somehow touch on in the class.
It's crazy.
We really tried to design the course so that anyone could create at the edge of their abilities, whatever they currently currently are. Now, if you're an adult or a professional engineer, I'm confident you will get a lot out of this class. But on the other end of the spectrum, a question I've already been asked is what's sort of the right minimum age level where it won't feel overwhelming? And I'd say for sure anyone like high school or above will be fine. Having said that, I've met some pretty precocious 8-year-olds that are already into building and electronics, and I think they'd be fine too. Otherwise, this is a great month-long activity for maybe a parent and their kid, or even...
How much is it? Now I'm tired of hearing him ramble and shit. I want to know how much
family to tackle together. At the end of the day, if you're not quite sure, you can just sign up to test it out and then get a full refund up until day 5 of the class. The company I partnered with is called Monthly, and they're great. They specialize in these month-long accelerated learning courses, and their user satisfaction ratings are super high across the board. So you can feel confident this would make a great holiday gift, or just a fantastic way to start the new year by making a resolution to learn some new skills that will serve you for the rest of your creative life. So if you're looking for a new hands-on way to bring your creative ideas to life, or if you've always been interested in science and engineering and want to further invest in this interest, or if you're just a more experienced looking for a fresh way to do things, then this class is for you. Just go to monthly.com/MarkRober or use the link in the video description to check it out and then enroll in this month-long learning experience with me. I know what's in the class and I promise you won't regret it.
And mine did not tell us how much it costs. And he really didn't talk about how the ice cream, you know what I'm saying, with that, cause it really was just him pubbing his whatever, his thing, and he put for the heart of hell. But yeah, man, this was another reaction with Jmac. You know what I'm saying? Hey, make sure y'all tell me what y'all want me to react to. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And lastly, but not least, like I say, last but not least, make sure y'all check the description because it's more to me than YouTube.